Welcome to the final lesson in the Dreamweaver chapter. For this video, there won't be any downloadable files, so just sit back and watch as I teach you a little about some new developments in web design. Because so many people use their smartphones and tablets to view the web, you may have heard the term mobile web. Well, there is no mobile web. There's only one web, which we view in different ways. This means that web designers need to reevaluate the way we develop for the web. Some buzzwords that you may be hearing are things like HTML5, CSS3, media queries, responsive design, and fluid grids. Responsive web design means that our website should change to meet the visitor's needs no matter how they view it, whether it's on a tablet, a smartphone, or a browser. Fluid layouts and flexible grids will be the key to success because they work on many different screen sizes, including mobile devices. The graphic that I've created for this web page is an overview of the same design that rescales based on the device that it's coming from. Right here you'll see the design on a traditional monitor, the same design that is repurposed and rescaled fluidly, you can hear the word fluid a lot, for a tablet, and then also right here for a smartphone. Now some of the things to look forward to with HTML5 and CSS3 and those two technologies coupled with jQuery are things like new drawing capabilities, video capabilities, animation, audio support, geolocation, gradients, and rounded corners, among many other things. Now HTML5 is not fully supported yet, and I have a link here and I'll show you a great website that actually tracks which browsers are HTML5 compliant and the support of HTML5 as it goes along. But you can definitely start using it, and for this demonstration I purchased a template from themeforest.com and I have it installed, and I want to show you some of the cool things that HTML5 can do and also some of this responsive web design that you've been hearing about. I have a couple of pages open. One of these pages is called index.html, so let me go ahead and switch there now, and we'll scroll up to the top, and then we'll look at some of the pages that came along with this template on multiple devices. Let's first talk about some of Dreamweaver's tools to help us view the same layout in some of the different devices. If you look right up here, you may have noticed a multi-screen drop-down list. Multi-screen is awesome because it will render your web page and give you an idea of what it looks like on multiple devices. So let's check it out. But before we do, let me just show you a couple of things that we're working with here. This particular layout has a jQuery fading image gallery that you'll see here. The gallery is super cool. It fades and it allows us to toggle through the different images. If we scroll down, you are going to see many div tags, and these div tags are going to repurpose and reflow based on the device that we choose to see it from. So let's check it out. Let's start by clicking this multi-screen button right here. And what you are going to see here is how your design is going to look on multiple devices. The design over to the left is for a phone that is 320 pixels wide by 300 pixels high. So check it out. A lot of things have repurposed to fit that device. Notice that your content flows down the page in a different format. And what you may notice is that the designer of this template put the most relevant and important design elements toward the top. And then as you move down the list, you'll see things that probably are less relevant, and as you scroll down all the way to the bottom, you'll get to the things that you may have seen in the wider format on a tablet and on a desktop, perhaps over to the right. Now what you're going to see here is the tablet design. Notice that not everything that you see on the desktop design is going to be available in tablet design. Actually, it kind of cuts it off right here after the jQuery item. Alright, so if we scroll down, you'll see your jQuery slider, no problem. By the way, you get a little preview of how this would work right here in the multi-screen preview. Okay, so that's cool. And then scroll down and you do see all of the additional elements, but they've been reflowed to the bottom of the screen. Now down here, here's a view of your traditional desktop that's 1126 by 104, and we could actually scroll down to see that indeed for this particular page it is a normal layout and you see your items across the page more spread out. So this is a great tool that has been enhanced in CS6, and we'll just close out of there. Now, for this demonstration, I've installed Firefox and I've also connected Dreamweaver to Firefox. You can connect any installed browser by going into the Dreamweaver Preferences file. You can access the Preferences file by going to Dreamweaver, and you'd find the Preferences file underneath the File menu here if you're on a PC, and you can go into the Preferences file and connect any installed browsers so you can see your pages in those browsers. Now, the reason I went ahead and connected Firefox is because Firefox has some excellent development tools. One of those tools is called Firebug, and I love it when I'm trying to decode my CSS or learn more about CSS because it's an excellent tool for that. Another excellent tool that I absolutely love is a developer tool that will allow you to see your design in multiple devices from a browser standpoint. So let's check that out. I'm going to go here to this little globe and I'm going to say, okay, I'd like to see this design in Firefox. When Firefox opens, let me go ahead and maximize the browser. What you see here is the front page of our template. Now I'm just going to scroll down a little bit, and this template has some nice rollover features. It also has fonts that actually are embedded and are scalable. So that's something else that you're going to see a lot as HTML5 and CS6 come about in all of your responsive designs. Is not only is your design going to be fluid and flexible, but so are your fonts and so are your images. So if we scroll down a little bit, we'll see our placeholder for our sliding image, and we'll see these nice little buttons on either side that allow us to toggle through our images. And if we scroll down a little bit more, you're going to see a nice big layout that is intended for full screen view, just like we have here. Well, I've installed some developer tools that are free from Firefox, and one that I absolutely love is right here, and it's called the Resize tool. The Resize tool will let me see my design in any other sizes that I set up. Now I set up these sizes, right? I went to Edit Resize Dimensions and I set up these dimensions, and here's the cool thing about it. I can quickly see what this page would look like in an iPad or a tablet landscape view. So let me select this guy, and you are going to see your web page conform to that size. So as I scroll down, you'll see a few things that have happened, and it basically resizes. Now I am not stuck with the options here in the Resize tool. I can actually resize the browser myself as well. Now as I resize the browser, what you may notice is that things are rescaling as we go along, right? You may notice that the top here is rescaling. If I went down a little bit, we'll notice the rest of the images are rescaling. Not only are they rescaling, they're rescaling proportionately as well. Do you see that? So I'll just scroll back up and notice that our image slider still works as it's supposed to. And this will continue to rescale as my viewport rescales as well. Okay, so when I stop rescaling, notice that if I scroll here, this design is fluid and flexible, and it responds well to the changing environment. Very good. Let's take a look at a couple of other pages here in the template that I purchased from ThemeForest as well. I'll go over to my single.html page. This page doesn't have a lot of jQuery or anything too fancy. It looks like a traditional blog page. Now we can view this in Firefox again, but let me call your attention to this. Not only do you have the multi-screen preview, but if you hold the little arrow down, you're going to see that Dreamweaver allows us to see our design right here inside of Dreamweaver without going to the browser as well. So let's see what it looks like on a traditional tablet size. And you're going to notice that the Dreamweaver window kind of morphs and shows us exactly what you are going to get when you export out as a tablet. And you can scroll down and get a great idea of how your design is going to be repurposed. You may also notice that there are some little icons down here at the very bottom. These are handy little tools also to help you see what your design is going to look like. So let's just see on a mobile phone how things repurpose and reflow down the page for a mobile device. Now these are great tools, but I still like to go to Firefox as well and use my developer tools there. So let me go over to Firefox, and here is our single page, and notice if we pull this out, you're going to see a lot of things that you would normally see for a bigger design here, right? A wider design. those things appear. But as your viewport changes, meaning if I were to pull this up on an iPad or another mobile device, I don't need to see all that because I can't. I can still see it because actually it goes down to the bottom. So if I scroll down far enough, I'll actually see those design elements, but they've been kind of squeezed down to the bottom because my viewport is smaller. Now the smaller I go, my design will continue to respond to my viewport. All right? Let's see one other example of that on our contact form. If I go over to contact.html, it looks like my mobile phone here is still selected, so that's nice. We'll look at our design for our contact form on a mobile device here in Dreamweaver. Looks very nice, right? Very handy way to toggle through your different viewports. Here's a tablet and here's full screen. Well, once again, I'm going to go to my friend Firefox and check out my tools there. All right, let's start by expanding our contact form, and we are going to see a full screen view here. And not only do we see full screen view, but we're going to see some nice rounded corners on our form field. And look at this. Here's a field also, but what is this little thing down in the bottom right corner? Well, this will allow us to resize our comment field kind of right here on the fly if we want to. All right, so very cool and very handy. But before we go, we'll go to our resize tools here and let's see what happens when we are in iPad landscape mode. Very nice. And we can also do just as we did before and continue to rescale our layout. Now, a couple of things that I want you to notice about the form if you haven't already. One of those things are these nice rounded corners and a rollover effect. Very nice. And look at this field right here, the comments field. Notice this little gripper bar in the bottom right corner. We can actually resize our comment field kind of right here on the fly. So a lot of really cool things that we can do with some of the new and emerging technologies. Now, as you move forward with web design, remember these key terms: flexible layouts and fluid grids. Everything is flexible and fluid, and that's why everything can scale the way it does for the intended viewport. One of the new tools that you may have noticed in a previous video is right here in Dreamweaver. So let me go back to Dreamweaver. And earlier when we went to File, New, and we were working with new web pages and some of the layouts here, you may have noticed this item here called a fluid grid layout. This is going to be a handy tool for you as a web developer in the future because the fluid grid layout will actually give you some fluid grids to start with as you start designing your fluid layouts. Let's cancel out of here, and there's one last thing I'd like to show you. Let me go back over to my demo page because here I have a link on when you can expect HTML5 to be fully supported. Let me view this page in a browser really quick and we'll be able to click that link. All right, so here's the browser and this is html5test.com. So let me go here. And this is a really great website that actually tracks browsers and HTML support. It's also tracking the browser that I came to it in now as well and tells me how it scores. All right, we can go here to other browsers and we can see all of the current browsers and when they are going to be fully supported by HTML5. A lot of great information here. Not only browsers, but we can view tablets, okay, view tablets, or mobile phones. And also, we have a great tool right here that allows us to compare the browsers that we're interested in. And you notice if you scroll down, you are going to see all the new tags that are going to be available for HTML5. So definitely something fun to look forward to. But let's just see how this works. Let's say we'd like to choose maybe the, I don't know, let's go with BlackBerry. Let's go with BlackBerry 10. And let's compare that to maybe iOS 5, and just for kicks, maybe Android. Okay, so here we have 3 comparisons, and as you scroll down the list, you can definitely see which device is going to support which element and how that's coming along.